730, 740, 740M. That's the highest so far. Yes, we are back. Feel the power. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Immortal Gaming. This is me again, Marvin, and we're now here for another video for Ragnarok Origin. And this time we're going to be talking about the genetic, the newest and the last set of one of the last set of the alternative third jobs. Let's start with the stats. Okay, so first of all of this are day one stats, day one build. So a lot of things can still be improved in this version of my genetic, or it can still be, you know, altered in terms of the meta, what is best in terms of DPS, etc. Okay, but as of the moment, I am using this. Okay, we have one build here. We have also another build for magic damage. I have slightly tested the magic damage, and it is not comparable to the physical damage of the genetic. In my opinion, it's the physical damage is so much better in terms of DPS output than magic damage, but I'm still not yet complete with the magic damage build. So as of the moment, I'm now focusing on physical damage. We also have PvP damage, PvP stats here. The main thing that I have concentrated here is strength and dexterity. This both give a lot of physical attack value to the genetic, since the genetic needs a lot of physical damage, and also it has ranged physical damage. So the rest would be going to luck, since this is used on PvE. You can also bring some of it to intelligence so that you could gain more MDef on the PvP side. I would not advise now on, you know, putting a lot of stats on vitality in terms of PvP, since it's very detrimental to the build, the current build of the genetic, which is gonna be, you know, dealing more damage versus those players that has a lot of vitality. Okay, let's go and move to the physical, or the physical damage skill build. Okay, so for the first job, I've only put discount, overcharge, cart modification, and enlarged weight limit. Next would be the second job. For the alchemist, we have focused on axe or mace mastery passive here. We need acid terror and demonstration so that we could unlock acid demonstration on the transcendent second job skill tree. I've also put level 5 on create potion and learning potion, and then the rest would go to bioethics and homunculus resurrection. Since for those of you who would be asking if there are things that they added to the homunculus, since it's pretty much trash on when it got released as an alternative transcendent job as a biochem, it's still trash as of the moment. They did not add any third job skill for the homunculus. Okay, so going to the transcendent second job. Okay, so of course we need level 10 acid demonstration, because we need that for the demonic fire, which will be our bread and butter in terms of DPS for the third job skill tree. I only put level 5 life science here, but the main thing that you have to put here would be advanced axe or mace mastery, acid demonstration, and cart burst. Okay, so next we go to the third job, which is pretty much the most important skill tree here, because everything is gonna be revolving around your third job skill tree. So for the physical damage, it would be this side, and for the magic damage build, it would be this side. Considering these two skills, the active and passive skill, both gonna be used for physical and magic damage. Okay, so you need cart remodeling so that you could gain steam power per second and a lot of things. Autopilot cart only on level 8, because we need 1 point on breakdown. we need 1 point on survival food and lab accident just in case you need those. But if you don't need survival food on lab accident, you can certainly max out autopilot cart. Okay, this one gives the enemy slow, and then you would deal more damage to enemies who have been slowed. Okay, so next would be cart cannon. This one has a lot of damage, and considering that this is your burst with a low cooldown, I really see this as a good thing, because if you're gonna use gacha that highly depends on burst skills, then this would be the perfect fit for that, for perfect skill build for that. And aside from that, we have the illusion doping. This one increases the fire damage taken of the enemies that has been hit by the drunk debuff. Okay, this drunk debuff lasts for 12 seconds. And what's so amazing about this is when you have learned the breakdown, okay, the breakdown passive, if you have cart remodeling, which we already have leveled up, and when you use autopilot cart and it hits, you have 50% chance to inflict illusion doping with drunk effect on your enemy. That means all of your fire damage would be increased on that enemy by 50%, or rather that enemy or that player or monster would take 50% more damage from your skills. Okay, and next, what I thought was the actual, burst skill is the cart tornado, but nope, this is a control skill because it sucks players and monsters in it. Okay, consumes all 100 points of steam power and gain 5 stacks of redox reaction. Then the remote mobile lab charges towards using stored steam power, dealing 1200 neutral ranged physical damage. If you're gonna ask if this is fixed neutral damage, this is not fixed neutral damage. This is not forced neutral damage. This can be altered using different converters for your element, if you're gonna ask. So when it explodes, it pulls enemies within its range, and it gives additional 1200 neutral ranged physical damage per instance. So you get 5 of that instance. Okay, so this is one of the things why I have a problem right now. Later, okay, so we have the survival food for additional control immunity, only 6 seconds though, but it grants all party members, this is what I love, all party members Hell Essence, which means it shields their armors and gears from being damaged, broken, or being removed by the Shadow Chaser. So that's really, really good. But you need 5 glistening coat for that. So on PvP builds, you need to max this one out so that you could increase the duration of it. Okay. Next would be the lab accident. This is your tele. This is one of the downside of this skill build. You need to max this one out so that you could gain less cooldown. But if you don't need that, or you're out of the PvP scenarios, you can just put one here, since there is a Nexus talent that reduces the cooldown of your lab accident. Okay, so for the magic damage, of course, we have only 40 points, 40 skill points. But if you can look at this already has like around 40, right? The Spore Explosion, Howling, Hell's Plant, and Crazy Weed. So it would be impossible for you to include Demonic Fire if you want. But I do think that, including Demonic Fire is gonna bring up the DPS. I haven't tried it though. In terms of putting all of the skill points here, but we'll be testing that further in the future. Okay, so for our gears, okay, this is kind of tricky for the gears. I have tested for your armor set both or all the Charleston, the Magic of Master or MOM, and the Tears Blessing. As you can see right now, I'm using Tears Blessing because I have tested for 5 times for each of this, and Tears Blessing gave me that much or a higher DPS. That may be considering that I have plus 244 on my strength. Take note of this. You can have a higher one. That means you can get a higher number of DPS output there. The second the second reason maybe why I have the highest damage output on Tears Blessing, because when I tested Master of Magic, I was not using the appropriate cards for this one, increasing my SP percentage and my flat SP, and I have no plans of altering my cards just so that I could, fit it on the Master of Magic. So I'm not gonna be opting for that one. For the Charleston, it has quite lower DPS output than Tears in my experience, but overall this one is gonna be much more useful on PvP and on hard scenarios or on hard dungeons such as the Nightmare Temple or the Freya Mirage. So I would be suggesting this one overall, but if you need a lot of DPS, then Tears Blessing is the way to go. Okay, so next would be our weapon. So as you can see right now, I am using Shriek. As if you're gonna browse through all of these builds, you can see that the last one is called Steam Power, and obviously this one increases the damage of your third job skills, except for the Demonic Fire. Now, it increases the Autopilot card, which has 3-second cooldown. Okay, this one is what I'm telling you guys. Whenever you have attacked, used cart cannon on a slowed target using Autopilot cart, then you get, physical damage, additional physical damage, 30% of that for 6 seconds, and you get additional damage on your cart cannon, 30% again. And it also grants 50% at the beginning, 50% movement speed, and it gradually decreases for 3 seconds when you cast Autopilot. Now, that is really good. That sounds really good, but I have tested it even on my stream. We have already tested it. The Shriek gives so much higher damage as compared with the Steam Power. Now, this is what I can recommend. Use Steam Power on hard dungeons. It is similar to when you're gonna use the Charleston's set. Okay, so if you're gonna use the Charleston set on PvP, on Freya Mirage, or on Nightmare Temple, you can also use Steam Power on those three, or even on Glory Ladder, because this movement speed is so much helpful in mobility, in moving, and particularly if you have already slowed the enemy, it will not escape your grasp. But in terms of DPS, Shriek gives you the highest one. This one gives you a consistent 20% increase in your physical damage, not that much high of a a condition, and additional 30% physical attack, and that's it, right? So in terms of DPS, in my opinion and in my experience, the Shriek gives you the highest. Now, in terms of your accessories, of course, your accessories would still be Chaos. And for your gacha, okay, for your gacha, it's gonna be concentrated on either ranged or fire skill damage. As you can see, I'm using this one because this is the one that we got. Most of the people got this as F2P using just, diamonds on the Sky City, and it's pretty easy. You can also use this cap on PvP, because this one adds a lot of value versus Demi-Human on PvP. But this one, this Sorcerer's Bell hat, so this one, aside from the damage from versus bosses, you get a lot of fire skill damage. Now, for your face wear, I am still using the Musical Note. There are a lot of, missed out face wear that is so much better than the Musical Note. For the mouthwear, it's still gonna be Ruby Gem. For the backwear, I am using the Azure Melody. But if you don't have that and you have purchased the, where is that? This one, the fire backwear here, this one gives you a lot of fire skill damage. For my costume, I am using the Neon Zero. This one is gonna be sinking greatly on your burst, since your burst has 6-second cooldown, and this one lasts, the bonus here, the 24% physical damage bonus, lasts also for 6 seconds. So if you don't have that, you can certainly go back. The bunny, this one, okay, this one, bunny sheriff, this one gives you a lot of skill damage. Although the basic physical attack and magical attack, or physical damage and magic damage, it doesn't have that. But I do believe that you still have a lot of edge if you're gonna use this. So let's now go to the enchants. For your enchants, of course, it's gonna be a ranged boon. For your accessories and weapon, you can also opt to go for the substats for strength, but I would suggest for you to go for physical attack, flat, and percentage. Now for your enchants here, it's superior physical attack, and then it's gonna be either PvE or PvP techniques on your other Gachawears. For your armor, it's still gonna be PvE technique for PvE, and vitality boost or resistance boost for your PvP. Now you can opt also for anti-physical damage, both on your garment and on your shoes, particularly on your shield. Okay, let's now go to our cores. Okay, so we kind of lucked out. Okay, we got a luck sack on this rolls. I only had 5 rolls, but I immediately got the link of the core overload, the link portal, and the chemistry fury, which would be your primary goal. In my opinion, the number 1 goal is gonna be your linked portal. Next to that is gonna be core overload, and then following that is your chemistry fury. So for the other miscellaneous stats here, you can go for, of course, you can go for the muscle block, or you can go for Windlord module for more movement speed, and you can also go for mana magic wavelength for more damage, or even bloodthirst if you don't have any other left. Okay, now let's go to our Nebula Path. So for our Nebula Path, this is one of the things that is really important. So if you're gonna click on your astral sign, okay, so on level 20, 40, 60, 80, most of us have that. And the previous jobs has not that important in terms of level 100 Emir's tiers. But in terms of the genetic, this is a big problem, and the biggest goal of my life right now is to reach level 100. This is the thing, level 100. Look at this. Extends the duration of card tornado by 50%. And then it also extends its area effect. Its AOE is higher. So in terms of PvP, on large scale PvP, this is gonna be important. So this is one of my goals right now. And if you're gonna ask me if it's gonna, not if it's gonna matter, I think it is gonna matter in terms of PvP, but on, direct DPS, extending the duration of the card tornado does not increase the damage, particularly because the card tornado's damage is depending on your reaction charges. But if you have, if you ultimately gain 5 stacks of reactions here, then you would be dealing the same amount of damage. It's just that the duration and the AOE of the card tornado is so much higher on level 100. That's one of the reasons why I was asking why it looks different on other videos. That is because the card tornado that was used on other videos that we have watched is using level 100 astral sign, and that's one of the big important things. If you are PvP competitive, or a competitive player. Okay, this is really helpful. Now, let's go to our Nexus Engine. For our Nexus Engine, the things that we need here, the first and the highest priority here is the autopilot cart. This one can give you up to 50% physical attack, okay? And this happens for each of the autopilot cart casts. So that the buff lasts for 8 seconds, and it is really good. 50% physical attack. Next is illusion doping. If you can remember, illusion doping only only affects fire damage, okay? Fire damage taken. Now, if you have the illusion doping plus 10 Nexus talent, whatever you have right now on your element converter, if you're fighting a water and you're using a wind converter, then that enemy or that character is gonna be, taking more damage, 30% more damage from you. Not as high as fire, because 50%, this is only 30%. Still, it's still very good. So those two. Now, if you want, you can also go for the lab accident. This is the one that I've been talking about a while ago, guys. Wherein the autopilot cart reduces the cooldown of the lab accident by 1 second. So it's not that big of a deal. Next is the gene research. For the gene research, this one, if you use survival food on your party members, you actually buff them additional 10% damage versus non-demi-human enemies. So, of course, we're gonna be using ignore physical defense here and ranged physical damage. Together with sharp arms, it's really important for you to use disruption here. Why? Because the disruption inflicts stun on the enemy, and considering that you could easily use your burst without any conditions, because it's just a cooldown, you can actually use disruption every now and then on PvP. Okay, so let's now go to for our cards. I'm using the usual weapon cards, the usual headwear cards, and the usual gear cards for my character. So you don't need that much changes on your cards. What else? For the pet, it's still the same for the pet. That's pretty much it. Okay, almost 30 minutes, but I'm gonna edit this one. Okay, so that's it. More videos are coming out with featuring the genetic, because this is my main job right now, and I'm really lucky. I was really lucky on our roles a while ago in our stream. So we're gonna be featuring next the magic damage build of the genetic, although I am kind of convinced that it is really inferior to the physical damage. But that's it. If ever you want me to optimize your character, kindly message me on the Facebook page that is shown on the screen as of the moment. And that's it. Thank you everybody for watching. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe. If you happen to like this video, please do leave a like, share this to your friends, and click that bell notification button to get notified every time I upload a new video, start a new stream, or a new content. That's it. See you again in the next video. Bye bye. Now I found you.